Hey guys, Cody Barton here. Welcome to my channel. And I just wanted to ask you this question. Have you ever wondered how to properly get in contact with people that you want to learn from? Or, you see somebody having a lot of success and it's in a field that you want to be successful in, whether it's real estate or some other form of entrepreneurship. And you're just like, man, how do I get in contact with them and, be able to learn from that person? Like what I wouldn't give to be able to learn from that person. That's what I'm gonna get into. I have 4 tips for you to be able to get in contact with more people that you can specifically learn from to better your craft and become closer to being an expert in whatever you're trying to become an expert in. So when I was starting out as an entrepreneur, almost 10 years ago, I had a mentor, and one of the things that he told me was, Cody, there's the 2 M's that you can learn from. And the 2 M's are this. It's either your mentors or your own mistakes. So he said, now Cody, what you can do in your life is you can go and figure it out on your own. You can quote unquote be self-made and, figure out how to be successful on your own. He's like, that's one way to go about it, but then you're learning by your own mistakes. And, just learning off of only your mistakes, it slows down your growth. It slows down the trajectory of how fast you can get to the goals that you ultimately want to get to. And so what he told me was, now if you instead focus on finding the right mentors that have what you want in the certain areas, if somebody has the health that you want, learn from them. If somebody has the finances that you want, that's somebody you want to learn from, right? So in whatever area that you want to grow, it's finding somebody that is already succeeding at that at a high level and learning from them. Those are the mentors that you want to be looking to gain in your life. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making, and I've made this mistake too when I was starting out, was just reaching out to people that had what I wanted and expecting them to, just because I exist, and I reached out to them and asked them for help, that they should have to, feel the need to help me or give me advice or give me insight just because I reached out. I quickly learned, years ago that that's not always necessarily the case. And I used to get, offended by it. Years ago, I would be like, wow, this person just doesn't want to help me. They're just too successful. They're too cool for school now. Like, they just don't want to help me out. But here's the thing is where the tables have turned over the years, and, now I'm sitting on the other side. I'm not the most successful person in the world, but I have reached a level of success, and I do get reached out by a lot of people. And so something that I just want to give some insight on for newer entrepreneurs, newer real estate investors that are, getting their businesses up and running, and, the ways to reach out the right way, and just some perspective. So oftentimes, if you're reaching out to somebody and they have, multiple businesses, or they're working at a really high level within the industry that you're trying to, typically they have a lot of different things on their plate. They're thinking about their own company's employees. They're thinking about the cash management of their company. They're thinking about the different opportunities that are in front of them that they're working on. They're thinking about hiring. They're thinking about firing. They're thinking about how to get their next deal done, how to solve that next problem. And then on top of all of that, they're trying to balance that with the personal family life as well. So it's understanding and having some thoughtfulness around, when you're reaching out to people, people have lives and oftentimes a lot of things going on, especially, if they're at a higher level of success. So with understanding that, I just wanted to give some of that perspective so that when you're reaching out to people that you're trying to learn from, that if they don't reach back out to you, or if they're, not willing or able to help you, just keeping that in mind. So I'm going to get into the 4 things that I think will help you a lot when you are looking to grow your network or grow, the people that are able to help influence you and give you some mentorship. But really fast, I want to share the story of how myself and my business partner Pace came to working together. I'm going to give you the short version of it, but long story short, what happened was I had seen Pace on Steve Trang's Real Estate Disruptors podcast, which is on YouTube. Great YouTube channel, or great podcast for people that are in the real estate industry. specifically real estate investing, to get inspired and, see other high level real estate investors. And so I saw Pace on this show and I'm like, wow, like, in this particular video, it was Steve talking to him about how he's doing 10 deals a month. And at this point in my business, I was only doing about 2 deals a month. I was getting consistent leads coming in, but I wasn't converting those leads at the level that I'd like to. And I knew that was a bottleneck. And so for some months now, I'd been stuck kind of at that point, and I wanted to scale and go to that next level. And so what I had done is I had reached out to a lot of other high-level real estate investors, just different, people around town here in Arizona, and just trying to get some help. I'm like, man, like how do I break through this? And so I reached out to dozens of people, not just a couple, but dozens of people trying to work through this. And so I didn't really get help from a lot of them. A couple people would, give me advice here and there. But it wasn't until this point where, I'm like, I just gotta figure out, somebody that wants what I have. And so what I did was I saw Pace on the show and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to this guy. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, my name's Cody Barton. I saw you on Steve's show. It sounds like, you obviously are really good at closing leads and converting those into contracts. And now I'm at a position in my business where I'm struggling to convert at a high level. I'm closing a couple deals a month, but I'm generating a lot of leads. Is there a possibility that I could just bring you leads? I will pay for the marketing. I will do the lead gen myself. I will call them, follow up with them, and literally give them to you. If I could just watch you do the sales process and close those contracts, you could make all the money. I don't need to make any of the money, because what I'm going to get in return is I'm going to learn. I'm going to get the value of seeing how to become a better closer, how to become better at the sales part of this business. And that is how, Pace and I got together was, I just led with value only. I didn't say, hey, teach me or give me your time. It was, hey, I'm going to give you leads that are going to make money for you and your family. And in exchange, I just want to watch you create those opportunities and turn those into something so that I can become better and so that I can in the future make more money myself. Now, I wanted to share that story because it's funny, Pace and I, laugh about it now, but, there was literally 100+ people that had reached out to Pace from that podcast. People still reach out to him to this day. And, he didn't respond to very many of those people at all, because people were leading with entitlement, like, hey, you should help me, or hey, do this for me, or do that. And that's definitely not the right way to go about it. And so, that was the story of how Pace and I came together, but it wasn't me trying to just get him to help me. It was I was bringing something that could help him, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Just wanted to share that story with you to maybe spark some ideas of somebody that you're trying to get in contact with. But let's get into the 4 things to keep in mind when you are trying to gain a new mentor or to get some help from somebody that's succeeding at a high level at what you're trying to. All right, so number 1 is going to be, it's pretty obvious just from the story that I just shared with you, but number 1 is leading with value. And when I'm saying leading with value, it's, reaching out with something that you can give so that you're not just trying to be a taker. Because people that are just trying to take, people don't like to be around people that are just trying to take. So at all costs, the best possible way that you possibly can, try to give any value that you can in this exchange, right? So that would be number 1, is figuring out how you can bring value to that person that you're trying to get in touch with. All right, so number 2 is, this one is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is stop reaching out to people and saying, can I pick your brain? Can I take you to lunch? Okay, think about this for a second. Let's just put this in perspective. Now, if you're a new person to the industry and you're reaching out to somebody that, and it depends on, what level this individual is at too a little bit, but if you're reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, let me take you to lunch, I'll buy you lunch. Okay, you're offering somebody that, depending on who you're reaching out to, like when people reach out to me, I have multiple businesses that are doing really well, 6-7 figure companies, and I really cherish my time and the amount of money that I make per hour. So when somebody says, can I take you to lunch? I'm like, so you want to pay for a $25 lunch when I have, very high level things that I need to do. And during that time that I'm taking away from my staff, my team, and my partners, and all of the responsibilities that I have to come and give you free insight on how to build $1 million businesses, well, for $25 lunch. So I would just suggest stop doing that. I think it's just a waste of time. I don't think it's the right way to go about it. And I don't mean that to come off, it should be arrogant, but it's just $1 per hour of time. It just doesn't make sense. And oftentimes, I fell into the trap because I wanted to help a lot of people, where I would, I did these things, kind of starting off because I wanted to help. But a lot of people, if you give them free advice, they turn into ask holes, which is you give them advice, you tell them what they should do, and then they do the opposite of it. So not only do they, disrespect your time, but they don't even implement what you told them to go do. So, that's I would say part 2B is, if you do end up getting that time with somebody that you want to learn from, go and implement what they tell you to do. Don't use your own damn opinion on what you think from their opinion. If they're doing what you want to do and you don't do what they say, that's stupid. It's just you wasted your time and their time. All right, so number 3 is going to be keep reaching out to people, right? So like I had mentioned briefly, I had reached out to dozens of people that were succeeding at a high level in real estate investing. And so I just wanted to find somebody that I connected with. There were some people that I was able to have some conversations with that were doing business at a high level, but we just didn't really connect. It's like you have your best friends, like your homies that you connect with, and it's just those are your people, right? So there were some people that I'd reached out to that they were helpful in some ways, but we just didn't really connect. We weren't able to get a good friendship going. And so what I continued to do was reach out to more and more people until I found, Pace was one of those people, right? So until I found Pace, until I found some other individuals that we ended up, I was able to learn, and we were able to create a mutually beneficial relationship where I'm learning from him, he's learning some stuff from me, and then we're able to grow that into a true friendship. So, and that's really the goal. Besides money and everything, the goal in life, in my opinion, is, once you're making money, once you're having success, it's, the depth and meaningfulness of the relationships that you create. So if you do reach out to some people and you just aren't meshing or connecting that well, keep reaching out. You're gonna find your people that you connect with and relate with really well. And don't get discouraged if you get turned down by some people that you reach out to. All right, so I wanted to save number 4 for last, and the reason is because this isn't going to apply to everybody, but more so for people that are really ready to take themselves to that next level in their business or whatever they're trying to get better at, and that would be paying for coaching or paying for going to a mastermind. And so I wanted to save this for last because the first 3 things that I talked about as far as tips are around things that you can do that are free as far as reaching out. But number 4 is something that has helped me fast track my success, which is paying for coaching, because you're getting direct access to the information that you need at a cost, or paying to go to a mastermind. And going to masterminds and paying for things like that, you're getting to rub elbows with people that are doing what you want to do. You're also connecting with a community of other individuals that are also trying to do what you want to do. So you can meet some friends that are on the same mission as you and create lifelong relationships. Those have been some of the most powerful relationships and some of the most powerful opportunities in my life have came from paying for coaching and paying for masterminds, because of the people that I've met and the opportunities that those people have brought to me. So I did want to at least mention that because really masterminds and coaching are the shortcut, but if you don't have the money, obviously it's, may not be the best thing at the beginning, but I invest to this day, and I'm in a few different masterminds. I'm paying for coaching. I pay for different subscriptions and courses because it's a shortcut. It helps you fast track to get into the rubbing elbows phase with the mentors that you want to. All right, guys, so hopefully this was able to help, give you some insight on how to, get in touch with, different mentors that you're trying to, or help give you some perspective of, why maybe you're not getting the response that you're expecting when you're reaching out to people. But, keep reaching out. Always want to encourage that because mentors can change everything for you, because they just give you some little life-changing advice that changes everything for you. So, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you disagree with anything, happy to hear it in the comments below. If you have any questions or any feedback, definitely put those in the comments below. And if you got any value from this video, guys, help me out trying to work through this YouTube algorithm. Hit the like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and we will see you in the next video.